For the first time, the average cost of a new car in the US has topped $50,000.
The price of new cars is up more than 30% since.
Going to be doing is a 25% tariff on all cars that are not made in the United States.
The average new car in America now costs nearly $50,000. 50 grand for an average car. That is not just inflation. Somebody did this on purpose. Today, I'll show you exactly who killed the cheap car, how they got away with it for 60 years, and why the thing they buried is now clawing its way back from the dead. Welcome back to Iglesias Automotive. Today's episode is a true crime story, and the victim is your wallet. Start with the body at the scene, that price tag, because it's genuinely hard to believe. Today, the average new car in America runs right around $49,000. A decade ago, about $33,000. In 10 years, the average car got $16,000 more expensive. That's not a price increase, that's a getaway car. The monthly payment tells the same story. The average new car payment is now about $749 a month. And the one that stopped me cold? About 1 in 5 new car buyers is signing up for a payment over $1,000 a month. $1,000 for a car. That's a mortgage with a steering wheel. Now you might be thinking, fine, that's the average. There are still cheap cars out there, right? Here's where it gets grim. Back in 2012, you could walk into a dealership and pick from around 12 new models priced under $25,000. Today, in 2026, about 4. The Nissan Versa, the Nissan Kicks, the Mitsubishi Mirage, the Kia Forte. That's the whole list. You can count America's affordable cars on one hand and still have fingers left over to facepalm. And here's the symbol of the whole thing, the Nissan Versa. For years, it was famous for exactly one thing, being the cheapest new car in America. The first-time buyer's car, the college kid's car, wheels that just worked. And as I'm making this, the Versa is on its way out, production wrapping up at the end of 2025. The cheapest new car in the country, quietly retired. And it's not alone. Sales of new cars under $25,000 have fallen about 78% in just 5 years. So that's the what, a whole category of car vanishing. The question is, who did it? And here's the part nobody tells you. It wasn't one killer. It was 3. Suspect number 1, the obvious one. Follow the money. Here's a fact that explains almost everything about your local dealership. Automakers make wildly different profit on different vehicles. Take a loaded F-150 that stickers around $60,000. On a truck like that, the maker can clear something like $15,000 in pure profit per vehicle. Now compare a $22,000 economy sedan. On that one, maybe $1,500 of profit, if they're lucky. Same factory, same workers, same dealer network. One makes 10 times the profit of the other. We've officially reached the point where the F-150 is priced like a starter home. So if you run a car company and your one job is to make money, which do you build? Which do you advertise? Which goes on the showroom floor? You build the truck. Every single time. And that's exactly what happened. Over the last several years, automakers didn't just drift toward big trucks and SUVs. They took the cheap cars out back. Ford discontinued the Fiesta, Focus, Fusion, and Taurus. Gone. General Motors dropped the Cruze, Sonic, Spark, and Impala. Gone. Chrysler walked away from its sedans too. And here's the twist. These weren't flops. A lot of them sold just fine. They simply didn't print money like a truck. So the companies looked at the spreadsheet and made a call. The affordable car didn't die in a crash. It died in a boardroom. But hold on. The American brands chased profit. Fine. Why didn't somebody else swoop in and sell us a cheap car instead? Great question. That's suspect number 2. And it goes back 60 years to a fight about frozen chicken. Suspect number 2, trade policy. Picture 1963. There's a trade fight raging between America and Europe, and no joke, it's about chicken. Europe slapped tariffs on cheap American chicken, and America hit back. One of the things it taxed in revenge? Imported light trucks, a 25% tariff. They literally called it the chicken tax. Now, the chicken fight ended ages ago, but the truck tariff never left. More than 60 years later, import a cheap pickup into America, and you still pay 25% at the border over a poultry dispute your grandparents barely remember. And think about what that does. It quietly walls the entire American truck market off from foreign competition. It's a huge reason your truck options are the same handful of domestic brands, and a huge reason those trucks stay so wildly profitable. Now fast forward to the 1980s. Japanese cars are pouring into America. Cheap, reliable, selling like crazy. So America leans on Japan to accept so-called voluntary limits on how many cars they could ship over. And here's the clever, almost accidental result. If you can only sell a limited number of cars, you stop selling cheap ones. You sell expensive ones, where the profit lives. So those Japanese brands raced up market, a big reason we even got luxury names like Lexus, Acura, and Infiniti. The budget car makers got nudged into building premium. And today, same playbook, brand new target. There are now steep tariffs aimed at cheap vehicles and parts from China, 25% on a lot of it, and as high as 100% on Chinese electric cars. You can debate the politics of that all day, not my lane, but the effect on your wallet is simple. The cheapest cars on Earth, built right now overseas for well under $20,000, are essentially blocked from being sold here. So that's suspect 2. For 60 years, trade policy has quietly kept the cheap competition out, which means the only people who can rescue the affordable car are the same companies that just killed it for profit. Convenient. And then there's a third suspect, the sneakiest of the bunch, hiding inside a rule that was supposed to help. Suspect number 3, fuel economy rules. Specifically, the CAFE standards, the rules that decide how efficient a car maker's whole fleet has to be. On the surface, this sounds great. Make cars cleaner, use less fuel. Who could be against that? But here's the twist almost nobody knows. The rule is built around something called a footprint, basically the physical size of the vehicle, measured by its wheels. And here's the catch. The bigger the footprint, the more lenient the efficiency target. A big vehicle is allowed to be thirstier and still pass. A small car has to hit a much tougher number. So a rule designed to save fuel ends up quietly rewarding companies for building bigger. Build a small, efficient car, you get the hard target. Build a giant SUV, the rule cuts you slack. It's the only diet plan in history that punishes you for ordering the salad. So the easy way to comply isn't a fleet of tiny fuel sippers. It's to grow your vehicles and let the small ones quietly disappear, because under this rule, the small ones are the hard ones. 3 suspects: profit pushing one way, trade policy pushing the same way, the efficiency rules pushing right alongside them. All 3 aimed at the same target, the affordable car. It never stood a chance. For the first time in years, there's real movement. A wave of new models is being planned, aimed squarely at the under $30,000 zone, the exact space everybody abandoned. Automakers are quietly realizing they pushed too far, too fast, and left a few million buyers behind. And the most exciting sign? A startup called Slate. They're building a dead simple, no-frills electric pickup, aiming for around $25,000. No giant touchscreen, no 15 trim levels, just an honest, affordable vehicle that does the job. A straight-up bet that cheap and simple can win again. And I think they might be right. Because here's the thing about everything I just told you. Every one of those 3 forces was a choice. Profit was a choice. Trade policy was a choice. The rules were a choice. And anything that was chosen can be chosen differently. The affordable car wasn't killed by a law of nature. It was pushed out by decisions, which means it can come back the exact same way, one decision at a time. So the next time someone shrugs and says a new car costs $50,000 because of inflation, you'll know the real story. It's deeper, it's more deliberate, and honestly, it's a lot more interesting. The cheap car most of us grew up with didn't vanish by accident. and it doesn't have to stay gone. If this changed how you look at that price tag, do me a favor. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell me in the comments, what's the first car you ever bought and what did it cost? I read every single one. See you in the next one.